What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We have your main lads here, as always, and joined by recurring guest Peter Phillips. He's from the Cop Table and the LFC DayTrippers. Peter, thanks for coming on again, man. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Appreciate the invite again. Good to join you guys, yeah?
Yeah, we love it. No, we love the insight you bring, and definitely getting ready for another awesome episode. We're here for the pre-match against Atalanta coming tomorrow at Atalanta. A lot of things to talk about right now. I mean, I think the one thing I want to get into before we get into everything is, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for us. I really appreciate it. But I think the big news, especially around the Champions League right now, is that before we even get to the Atalanta game, 11 players from Ajax have tested positive for coronavirus. I don't know about you guys, but that makes me very, very concerned about our team going to Italy for this game. So I'm pretty sure, aren't they still pretty hot spot out there?
Yeah, I'm my biggest concern. I'm so worried about them going to Italy. I think that Italy the other day had like 30,000 new cases in one day. I think it was last week, which set their record, I believe, if my reports aren't incorrect. But no, I mean, this is just we're gonna start seeing more and more cases. I mean, Klopp. Someone asked Klopp after the West Ham match, and he didn't seem too concerned. But it's just it's the reality of our life now, unfortunately, until we figure this thing out. But I mean, to fly all the way to Italy, I would expect somebody to get COVID at some point. Hopefully, it's not one of the main lads or anything like that. But I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's putting it as well. I think someone's going to come back with it. I can't see how they don't come back with one person who's getting COVID.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a concern. And I think also the fact, even with Ajax, I think the rule is if you have a certain amount of players, I think it's like 14, they still make you play the game, because they did that to what was it, Moscow, or one of the Moscow teams the other day in Real Madrid's group. They still had to play with 14 players.
Shakhtar, was it?
Oh, Shakhtar.
Yeah, Shakhtar, yeah. That was it, yeah. So I think Ajax would still have to play. They've got a minimum amount of squad players, which is unfair, because most of their best players have got it, as far as I saw.
Both their goalies.
Yeah, so it's crazy, I think like these are some crazy times. And I saw Pep saying that football should stop, the Premiership should stop because of COVID. So yeah, these are some like worrying times.
I don't know if the Prem should stop. I mean, I would agree with him if he said the Champions League should stop. I mean, I don't as long as everybody stays domestically, we might be a little better off. But if everybody's flying to different countries and then you have the international break after that, I mean, it's just way too much. I mean, they're not taking the necessary precautions in terms of international football for me.
Yeah, what do you think, Peter? Because I agree.
I think that with the Ajax team as well, I think Holland is suffering from a big spike as well at the moment, where we've been locked down in England. Well, especially the Liverpool area, we've been locked down for 2 weeks, and then it's the full country from Thursday. So I think Holland has had a lot more cases. So fingers crossed, it's come from their own country. It's not come from where they was out in Italy, because obviously the team are going to have all the precautions in place. Obviously, people have been out to the hotel beforehand and made sure everything's in place for the team. There's going to be no not taking any sort of risks with anything over there. It'll be one of them, get over there into the hotel, play the game, and straight back out to the country and back home to Liverpool, possibly straight after the game. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if they came straight home tomorrow evening.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to be in Italy for as little time as possible, you got to go do it. Can't take the risk, especially with the game after is going to be against Man City on Sunday. If we're missing any of our key guys already, we're already missing Van Dijk, so we're missing anybody outside of that. It's just going to make the game even tougher for us. I mean, it sounds like Aguero might be back for that game. He may not be, so we're going to have to put our best foot forward regardless. But kind of the transition. Let's actually start talking about the game a little bit. I mean, the biggest news for me was the guys who were in training. It sounds like Tsimikas is back. Sounds like Keita is back. I think Matip was even training. I think Milner. Did Milner end up traveling with the team? Looks like he did.
Yeah, he did. I saw on the plane.
On the plane.
Was
Perfect.
Yeah.
So then the only guy we're going to be missing really outside of Van Dijk is going to be Thiago. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts, on this game? Is this a game where you would try to put out our best 11, or do you expect to see a little bit more of a rotation? Peter, why don't you kick us off?
I do expect Klopp to slightly rotate the team tomorrow evening, not to a huge extent as what he did in the game for Ajax. I still expect at least one of the front three that played on Saturday to be in that starting lineup. Maybe Salah, but obviously with Nathaniel Phillips not available for the Champions League, it's looking at all the rumours and what the Liverpool Echo's reporting is it's going to be Reece Williams who steps into that into the centre back position. So it's going to be a huge evening for himself. But midfield, obviously Fabinho's not there. Can't really see Naby Keita starting the game, only because I think it's only his first day back full training yesterday or today, so he's not going to be 100% match fit, and I don't think Klopp's going to take any sort of risks with him, knowing how much he's broke down in the past with injuries and things like that. So I expect Henderson to start it with Wijnaldum again, and possibly James Milner in that, because he's gone with that three in a lot of the European games away. I know, I think it was Napoli last year. He went with them three. I think Shaqiri's and Jota might get a start in this one, only because of the impact that they made, and just to give Firmino and Sadio Mane a rest. I think he might play Salah through the middle with them two either side of him. So it's going to be an interesting lineup, but one that I expect to be at least 2-3 changes from the weekend.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see not only who plays, but what we line up as. Because I really liked what I saw out of us in the 4-2-3-1. I was really surprised that we switched back to a 4-3-3 to start the last game. So, homie, I know this is a popular topic for you. What are you expecting to see? You expecting more of a 4-2-3-1, or stick with the 4-3-3 that we started with last game?
I would go 4-2-3-1, but I think Klopp will stick 4-4-3 purely because of Atalanta's attacking ability, and he's not going to want to take any risk, especially if he has to play Williams tomorrow, which he's going to have to. I don't think he's going to be as bold in terms of the 4-2-3-1 with Williams there. So I think he'll probably go 4-3-3. And then I'm thinking it'll probably be this. I would love to Tsimikas play, but I can't see him also playing, just coming back. I'd like to give Robbo a rest, but I can't see that happening. So I think it's be the same back four, except for Williams comes in for Nat Phillips. Obviously, Alisson in goal. I think I'd like him to play Keita, purely because I want something different. I feel that if we play the Briex in midfield, the usual, them three, I think we'll struggle away. I think when we played Napoli last year, we struggled because of that midfield, because although it's functional, it doesn't really offer any creativity side. And I think Napoli, Atalanta they play a back three and they pack the midfield. I think they play like 5 players in midfield. And I think that's going to block our fullbacks.
Yep.
And so if our fullbacks are blocked, we need someone in the middle that's going to offer some kind of creativity. And I think that's where we'll struggle. And I think that's why sometimes in Europe, away from home, we've not had the best away form in Europe for a long time. Like not probably since, I know we won the last away game, right? Before that was like we hadn't won it since Roma back in, that since back then that time. So, and we even win in Rome. Yeah, so you haven't won then since then. So I think he'll probably end up going with what Pete said and the Milner, Hendo and Gini. And he probably will go with that midfield. And then he'll probably I think Firmino will be dropped, rested. He probably will play Salah. And I think he probably will play Shaq and Jota. He'll probably drop Firmino and Mane. I agree. I don't see all three of them playing. Especially with City in the weekend. He'll have one eye on City as well. And I think that's probably what he's going to go with. And he'd probably go there thinking, well, a draw isn't the worst result here because we've been at Anfield after the international break. We're still going to be in a decent position. So he'll probably think a draw isn't the worst here. And plus, if you look at Atalanta, I was looking at the stats. I mean, in Serie A, they conceded at least 1 or 2 goals in every game in Serie A. They're not collecting clean sheet. I think they scored like 17 and let in like 14 goals or 13 goals. So as good as they are going forward, they're not that good defensively. And they recently lost to Sampdoria 3-1 and lost to Napoli 4-1. So and even Ajax probably should have beaten them in the last game. They were 2-0 up. So I think like as good as Atalanta going forward, they are suspect defensively. And also because they play a back three, we normally do well against back threes. Normally, with our front three normally.
Mm-hmm. All right, Andrew, go ahead.
So I mean, I've been listening to a lot of people on Twitter. These are like top Reds, and they're saying that we should make all these substitutions. We should rotate, and I just completely disagree. I think we need to just get after this one, get a win at Atalanta, and that sets us up to win the whole group for the Champions League. Then we can rotate. I think we should just get it done now. I mean, one of my hot takes was going to be Milner starting alongside Henderson and Genie, but Peter beat me to it. But I think Klopp's going to go with a 4-3-3. He's going to go with his most trusted team, and that's going to be the normal back four with the addition of Reece Williams. Trent and Robertson are going to play. Robertson's been our most consistent, so I think Tsimikas will come in eventually, but definitely not for this game. Like I said, Milner, Keita, Henderson. I don't think now is the right time to play Naby Keita. If they do play Naby Keita, then in my opinion, we're no better than the Guinea national team because he's just coming off a fresh injury. He's just training today for the first time. Why would you throw him in a lineup right now? That doesn't make sense to me. I think you got to rest him a little bit, give him some time to get back into the lineup. And we can go from there. And one of the reasons why I don't understand why people are saying that we should go for it with a weekend lineup is because we do have international break coming up. And as I just stated, most of us just stated, COVID is a concern. Who knows who's going to come back with COVID? Thiago came back with COVID. Naby came back with COVID. So, I mean, it's it's like a ticking time bomb. You never really know what's going to happen. But I think the front three stays the same. I think he goes, like I said, with his most trusted team, and that's Mane, Salah, and Firmino. And if we have to, we bring in Shaq and we bring in Jota off the bench, and they get the job done.
You guys see Minamino playing any part?
Who?
Minamino.
I could see him coming in. I don't think he starts.
Yeah, it's just interesting because I agree with you in the sense that this is the game that we should go out and win because you go out and win this game, we're 5 points clear of the team that's in second place. And, knowing that we have another game in hand against Midtjylland, or however you want to pronounce them, and then the other 2 games are at home against Ajax and Atalanta, like you're just feeling confident knowing that you're going to get at least draws out of those games. So like that's when we can start rotating and, especially since this game's on Tuesday, we're going to have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, 4 full days before we play City. So I think you can go with more of your starting lineup and more of your, go-to players in this game, knowing that you have that time off. And that as long as there's no injuries in the game tomorrow, you should be able to play everybody again against City, and then it's the international break. So
who knows? And who knows who Ajax is going to be missing because of COVID. They're missing 11 players. They could be missing some big players. So they could tie Mutland or however you pronounce it. So, I mean, we could wrap this thing up tomorrow.
I mean, they're missing their starting goalie, their backup goalie, Tosun up top, Klaassen, and somebody else too. I forget who the last one is. And that's just those are all starters for them right now.
Right. So there you go.
So, that's, again, you go out and win this game. Yeah, if they get a draw, then the only other team is Atalanta at that point, and then you have a 5-point gap on them. So I don't think that this game is necessarily a must-win, but I think that you need to go out and try to win the game. So, I mean, like, what do you think, Peter? Do you think this game is more of a must-win, or would you be okay with a draw? Or I guess trying to win?
Yeah, I think if it's more of a must not get beat game. So you take a draw in this game. You take a point, wouldn't you? Because like you say, with the situation with Ajax, and you've got Atalanta to come at home, you've got Ajax to come at home. You're looking at winning them 2 games, aren't you? Anyway, and Midtjylland away again. You're looking at Liverpool taking the victory. So it's not a game that we must win, but it's more like you don't want to get beat in this game. You just want to keep things ticking over. You don't want to be coming back to the City game on the back of a defeat. You take a draw and a little bit of confidence in the group from the Champions League. Then going into the knowing in the Champions League you're gonna go through with the Premier League game coming up.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's what I see as well. I think Klopp's going to go for a draw and just keep it compact. And if we nick a goal, great. He's going to go in this not to lose because he ain't going to see it as a must win, especially with Atalanta.
With that midfield, due to the fact that that midfield is to nullify the opponent. It's not for us to go out and attack a team. It's for us to nullify what they're going to do against us. And then obviously it's if we do concede, he can switch things up slightly. But as you've seen with the Napoli game last year, I think it was 0-0 until the very end, and we conceded, wasn't it? Which I expect very much a similar performance to that Napoli away. Not very easy on the eye at all. Just a performance that Liverpool are going to be solid, tight, compact, and try not to concede. But if they do concede, then obviously we will switch things up, and I could probably see a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 myself in this game.
Yeah, no, I think I fully expect to see both Henderson and Milner if they're both available, because of the reasons that you guys said. I think in Klopp's head, he's going to be thinking, all right, what can I do? Like, what guys can I trust to be in the right position who aren't going to be, undisciplined and make a mistake like that? And those are the guys that he can trust in that regard. And I think as long as we stay compact and stay organized in the back, it's going to be hard for them to score. But when you actually look at Atalanta, I mean, you brought it up, Rahom, with their formation. They like to play with their wing back, so it's going to be difficult for guys like Robertson and Trent to have the normal impact that they have. And then when you also look at how they like to play, those are very, very dangerous in the air. So that's why I'm actually very comfortable with a guy like Williams starting in the back, because he is good in the air. And we need somebody good in the air to play next to Gomez, because we know that's not one of his strengths. So as long as Gomez can keep doing what he's doing in terms of keeping the back line organized, himself staying very disciplined and not getting pulled out of position, it's going to be his responsibility to make sure that Williams is in the right position, because he's going to have another big day, just like Nat Phillips did last week, having to win a lot of headers. And if he doesn't, then we could potentially be in some trouble there.
Well, I think the key is that we need to tell Trent to stop crosses. Come from Robbo's side, we need to tell Trent tomorrow, don't allow crosses. As soon as they get in position, close them down, don't allow crosses. Don't do that thing where, he did better, I think against Sheffield United, where he didn't go that foot far forward and he was stopping crosses. He's do that same thing tomorrow, because that's going to be the best way to defend against Atalanta with the crosses. Otherwise, if they put crosses in, they've got some big lads up front, and that's where they'll be a threat. So we just have to tell him, stop the crosses. Simple.
And that's why I think you have to go with Milner and Henderson, because those two guys are just so cerebral and they have a very good head on their shoulders, and they can keep him honest. And that's why I'd love to see Henderson, again, play next to Trent in that regard, to help him with that, help communicate with that. And then if Trent does get pulled out of position, Henderson can fill that void.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about Atalanta. Who are like their guys to watch?
They've got a guy called Zapata who's quite good.
Zapata,
also, Luis Muriel, who's played against us once or twice, scored 2 at the weekend. I think he's a South American lad, isn't he? He's a Colombian. Played for a lot. I think he played against us for Sevilla as well, because he was in La Liga, and then he's in Italy now, so he's a player to watch for them. They've also got Ilicic as well, who's a creative midfield player, Josip Ilicic, his name. He's quite a renowned player throughout over seasons in Europe. So yeah, they have got a few threats. They've got another guy called Gomez as well, who plays just behind the front. They usually have like a lone striker, so they've got like a 3-4-2-1 formation, which is something we don't often come up against. So it'll be interesting to see how we sort of counteract how they are going to line up. So if they play with just that one striker, then that might invite Trent and like you say, Robertson to start bombing on, because they haven't got the wingers to keep them occupied, if you like. If they're playing two sort of inverted forwards behind a striker, it leaves that side open for. I know you said they've got the wing backs, but it does give them opportunity to then use that space to go forward themselves, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then their center midfielders as well are very technically gifted as well. They can pass really well. They have great footwork. So we're going to need guys who know how to track back and who can, retain the ball in midfield.
Where is their aerial prowess? Is it up front, or does it come from like free kicks on, the center backs, or both?
From what I can gather, they're missing some key players from the defence. When I had a little check before, I think they've got a German guy, Gosens, who's out, and a guy called Caldara, who's also out as well. So they are missing two key defenders from tomorrow. So that's why he's also going to revert to a three at the back. He usually just plays the two guys that are missing. So he's reverting now to, by all accounts, don't know what I mean. I could be wrong, but from what I was reading before, it sounds like they will be reverting to a three at the back.
Are they quick? I haven't seen much of Atlanta myself. Are they quick at the back?
Yeah, they're quite. Yeah, they are a quick team. They are quite free scoring as well. Like you say, they've scored 17 goals in, I think it's 6 games. But obviously the league in Italy, they haven't come up against the strongest teams. I don't think. Like you say, they got beat by Sampdoria. They've played more or less the teams in the lower half of the league. So yeah, they haven't come up against any sort of strong opposition. And when they have done, they've sort of struggled. Sampdoria, and obviously the game with Ajax where they was 2-0 down but come back to get a 2-2 draw. So yeah, I'm still confident about Liverpool being the stronger team tomorrow. It's just obviously going over to Italy, you've got to take into consideration the surroundings and the situation with the COVID and what have you. And you just got to go over there, like we say, get in there, get a result and get back out of there as soon as possible, really.
Yeah, for me as well, it's I know we've spoken on this pod, or on this channel a lot about how we haven't started quickly. We've kind of grown into games mainly in the second half. I think in a game like this, hit them right in the mouth right away. And especially with that midfield of Milner, Henderson, and Gini, they should be pressing nonstop. I would expect us to win the ball back constantly, get it wide to Trent, and maybe you can play in the channels to Sadio and Mo. So that's kind of what I would look for, especially from the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, especially when you think about the positioning on the table as it currently stands. This game, I think we all agree it's a big game for us, but it's definitely a bigger game for Atalanta, especially after drawing Ajax. I mean, if they can come away with a win here, then they're in great position going forwards as well. But for them, if they get anything other than a win, obviously it's going to be hard for them to get a win at Liverpool. And then they have to play Ajax again. So I think with them, like you said, Andrew, if you can get out and get a quick start, they're going to have to open up, and their wing backs are going to have to get forwards a lot, and that's going to open up the game a lot for us. So if we can do that, get them out of their shell, get that early goal, make them attack us, that's just going to make us think about our front three, think about Salah and Mane with even more space. I mean, that just, I'm salivating at that thought. So yeah, definitely get out there and get that first goal.
Yeah, and also maybe if he doesn't play Jota, then at least we have someone pace on the bench to come off, and
Now you're talking, homie.
Yeah, but I'd hope he does start Jota, because I think he's in such a rich reign of form that he should be given a run out to start off with. And I think his pace and pressing could trouble Atalanta. I just feel like I just feel like Bobby needs the night off. I don't think tomorrow night he should start. I think you should be
He's
giving them
scoring. He's scoring tomorrow.
I don't know, man. I got a feeling that he's not going to start against City. I don't know why. I got a feeling that that's when we're going to play the 4-2-3-1, start Jota and Shaqiri, and just be like, okay, like, all right, City, like City's not blowing teams out anymore. You know, they're winning all their games 1-0, 2-1, stuff like that. So challenge City's defense, make them. I mean, this will be a conversation for the next episode. But I would kind of expect Firmino to get benched for that game, go all out attack against City, and just dare them to try and stop it. But we'll get to that on the pregame Man City. But let's go to some predictions. You know, what do you guys have for the score line for this game?
I'm gonna go for. I think we might scrape a 2-1 win.
It's a popular scoreline with Liverpool. You love 2-1 victory. So who do you got for goal scorers?
I think we might get a penalty, so I'm going to say a penalty.
So Milner.
Yeah, I know he let Salah take the penalty last time, but I don't think he'll do it again this time round. So I think Milner get a penalty, and I think Jota will get a goal again.
Imagine the scenes.
I think it's going to be 2-1. I think, you know, we're not going to see many clean sheets, unfortunately, without Van Dijk. But I'm going to go with Mo Salah getting 2. Keep his good form going.
What do you got for us, Peter?
I think it'll be a score draw myself. I think I'll probably go more likely with a 2-2. I think it'll be one of them. Obviously, cagey affairs, but if we score one, I think they score another. Be one of them games where it's sort of twos and throws end to end. So yeah, I fancy a score draw. Fancy us to score from a free kick tomorrow. A set piece, maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold, something like that from outside the box. He's due a goal. He likes an away goal in Europe as well. Remember the Hoffenheim free kick. He put that one in, and yeah, I think Salah's due another goal, isn't he? He hasn't before the West Ham goal. He hadn't scored for a couple of games, so I think he's due one. So I'll go with Trent and Salah in a 2-2 draw for me.
All right, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to say it's going to be 1-0 Liverpool. Again, I think it's going to be, like you guys said, cagey affair. I think as much as I want us to start hot, I think, again, it's going to be a game that we grow into. I think it will be 0-0 at halftime, and I expect Sadio Mane will be the guy to get a goal for us. He always seems to come up clutch for us, and especially if you know, with them playing 3 in the back, you know, if he can find that space and take on one of the center backs one-on-one, he's going to be really dangerous. So I'm going to go 1-0 Sadio Mane with the goal. But we'll see how that plays out. You know, we'll be back. We'll all be tuned into the game tomorrow, and we'll be back after that for the post-match reactions. But hey, Peter, thanks so much for joining us again, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, appreciate. Thanks for the invite coming on. Enjoy the show again, lads. Yeah, cheers.
Yep. And for everyone else out there, thanks for tuning in again. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate you guys. But we will be back for the post-match reaction for the game against Atalanta tomorrow. So take care, everybody. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds.